Hey guys, Casey Scanlon here. It is March 24th and we're going to do a quick fishing report for Lake of the Ozarks. It's springtime here at the lake and we've got some spring rain going on right now. I was able to get on the water the last couple days, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I found out about what the lake's doing and what I think the lake's going to do the next few days. So right now we got a lake level of 655.3. That's crept up a little bit since our last report. We were around that 654 mark. So the lake level's come up a little bit. We've been getting some rain. The lake has been really clear most of the spring and winter, and now we're starting to get a little bit of stain in the water, especially, in these bigger creeks and coves and these river arms that come into the lake. You should start seeing some good stain in those, and that helps make the fish bite a lot of times. So right now we're getting a little bit of rain, and we're forecasted to get some more rain throughout the week. So I called the lake level, and it looks like they're going to generate a lot of water the next few days. So there's going to be a lot of water, a lot of current going through the lake, a lot of water going through that dam, and that should position these fish a little bit tighter to the bank, maybe closer to some cover points, things like that, and hopefully get them feeding. Usually when they run some water, especially for continuous days, it usually gets those fish biting a little bit. So we are right in the middle of things here at the lake. Things are changing fast, and these fish really want to move up shallow, look around, and start feeding for the spawn that's upcoming here in the next few weeks, next couple months. So we've had a lot of fronts coming through the lake. It's been warm, it's been cold. These fish keep moving up and down. They keep getting close to the shoreline, moving back out into the creek channels. So they're kind of in a little bit of back and forth right now, just waiting for the weather to stabilize a little bit, and we should see that here in the coming weeks. But these fish really want to move up to the bank, and hopefully this water generation, a little bit of rain, a little bit of color in the water is really going to get them moving around this week. But this lake's fixing to explode. This is one of the best times to be out here. It's kind of one of those any day type scenarios. These fish are going to move up. They're going to move up in big numbers, and you're going to be able to go out there and have a phenomenal day, catch a bunch of fish on a variety of techniques. So we'll go through a few of the baits, a few of the things that I've been doing out there to catch some fish this week, and in the coming weeks, what I think is going to catch a few fish for you. So we'll go over a few of those things right now and figure out what we can do to catch a few. So first and foremost, we got a jig right here. This is just a little finesse jig. I got jigs laying everywhere in my boat. Got a Trophy Bass Company Pro jig right here in black and blue. These little finesse jigs are going to work well in that clear water, those bluebird days when the water's real still. That finesse jig's going to get you some bites. Been throwing, just a little craw trailer, something like that on the back. Something with, not a whole lot of action is going to get a lot of bites this time of year. Still talking water temps in the upper 40s, low 50s, so these fish are still a little lethargic. But with, the rains and with this water warming up a little bit, these fish are going to be moving shallower. There's going to be more color in the water, and this is my go-to right here. This is our Trophy Bass Company Pro jig, black and blue. This is a 3/8 ounce jig right here. I'm going to select a 3/8 ounce or a 1/2 ounce jig, and I'm going to put a little bit bigger trailer on the back, maybe something like a chunk trailer, a bigger craw, maybe a beaver style bait, some kind of creature style bait that's going to have a little bit less action but a little bit more bulk. A variety of trailers are going to work on that. Green pumpkin, black and blue, sapphire blue. Those are going to be the three trailer choices as far as color that I'll put on the back of that. And then green pumpkin for your smaller jigs, just real natural look to it. The crankbait bite. It's been going on for the last month or two. This water temperature's been hovering in the 40s, but that's one of my favorite times to throw a crankbait. Mid 40s, low 50s. This is the Tackle HD crankhead. Been throwing it a ton. It gets down there fairly deep. It'll reach 10 to 12 foot, depending on line size, but it's going to get down there in that 6 to 10 foot range, dig around on the bottom, deflect off a cover, and get a lot of strikes. It mimics a crawfish. And they actually, it's a great deal if you're looking for a crankbait. They come in 2 packs, for about $10. You're gonna get two great baits. We got some really cool paint jobs. Just grab a crawdad pattern of some sort, something with a little bit of chartreuse in it if you're fishing stained water, and you're gonna be good to go. Bait has a lot of thump, a lot of vibration, and I've been using it all fall, all spring and winter, and it's been producing a lot of bites for me. One of my favorite times of the year to throw this bait, and it's one of my favorite bites of the year as well. You can cover a lot of water, you can catch some really big fish, and with the water temperature being cold, there's not a ton of baits that you can put in your hand and move real fast and cover the bank, and this is one of them. So we got a big lake here, 100 miles of water to work with, so anytime that I can move a little bit faster, cover a little bit of water, that's what I'm gonna do. So Tackle HD crankhead, or any kind of a crankbait that'll dive in that 6 foot, or rather 4 foot to 10 foot, 12 foot range, you're gonna be all over them. So pick a deeper bank, transitions, gravel banks, and you're gonna be good to go. Wind blown points, look for the wind, chase the wind with those moving baits, and you're gonna catch a lot of fish. The next, which is my favorite, and you can see this one's been used well. This is the Trophy Bass Company Ozark Flash spinnerbait. The spinnerbait bite went out the last few days, caught a few fish on it, caught some nice ones, and it's fixing to explode. It's gonna get really, really good here the next few weeks, and this is gonna be a bait that's gonna put big fish in your boat. The Trophy Bass Company Ozark Flash is a staple here in the Ozarks. If you don't have it, you need to get one. We've got the half and half painted blades here. This is the white and chartreuse model, which is kind of my standard go-to. And this is a 1/2 ounce, 3/4 ounce, 3/8. You can't go wrong. You're gonna catch a lot of fish. The deeper the water, the bigger the spinnerbait. So if I'm fishing greater depths, then right up on the bank, I'm gonna fish that 3/8 ounce, 1/2 ounce. I'm gonna fish around wood cover, rocky banks, out to that, anywhere from 0 foot, 6, 8 foot. When I'm talking about getting out there a little bit deeper, or if I feel like the fish are biting the bait close to the bottom or off the bank a little bit, I'll reach for that 3/4 ounce, got a little bit bigger blades, a little more thump. It's gonna get down there deeper and gonna help you catch some fish. But we got a lot of big tournaments, and this is gonna be a player in a lot of them this spring. So it's a great bait, super durable. We feature a special wire on there that is going to produce a lot of fish for you. The spinnerbait's not going to give out. It's not going to break in half when you get that fish of a lifetime on, and this is a bait that you can do that. So big fish here in the Ozarks love a spinnerbait, and now is the time of year to throw it. So we got willow leaf blades on that. I've got a ton of spinnerbaits laying out here. This is our Ozark Flash frame, but I put, of course, a bigger blade on here, whether it's a big single willow or a big single Colorado, tandem Colorado, something with a little bit of vibration in that dirtier water is gonna get some bites. So spinnerbait bite is gonna be red hot this week and in the weeks to come. Look for that to produce a lot of big fish for you. And you're gonna catch some big ones and possibly the fish of a lifetime. Jerkbait bite, still going on strong. It's gonna continue all the way until these fish get on the beds. So we still got a lot of fish that have yet to move up. You can go out there and catch them on an Alabama rig from what I saw on my Garmin fish finders this week. I was looking out there on my live scope, saw a lot of fish suspended over deep water. So anytime you have fish suspended, anytime you have pre-spawn fish in clear water, the jerkbait, the Alabama rig is going to produce something fairly natural, shad patterns, a white, a bone, anything like that is going to produce some fish in those clear conditions. When you get a little bit stained water, reach for some, chartreuses, things like that, something that's going to stand out, be a little bit brighter, get some more strikes. So, the Tackle HD Fiddlesticks jerkbait's a good one. The Magnum Fiddlesticks is one of my favorites, been throwing it a ton. It's a bigger bait. Now that we've got some stained water, the fish are getting more active. They're more inclined to eat that bigger bait, and you can throw it a long ways, and it's just gonna get some bigger bites for you. So check out the Tackle HD Fiddlesticks jerkbait. The Magnum Fiddlesticks is my favorite. Also comes in 2 packs. And that's a great buy for you. So jerkbait bites still going on strong. Fish the points, fish the brush piles, fish channel banks, look for shad, And of course, if you got the electronics, utilize your live scope, utilize the pan optics. The Garmin stuff's amazing. You can see a lot of fish swimming around out there and present that jerkbait right to them and catch a lot of them. Same way with the Alabama rig. I'm going to use the Tackle HD swimmer on the back of that. Anything from 1/8 ounce to 1/4 ounce jig heads, and you're going to be good to go. Throw it out there around the fish, especially if you can visibly see them. That's a great way to produce some big bites. That bite's going to start fading, but as long as we got some of these, lower water temps, clear water, some big fish are going to get caught on it. Crankbait bite, like we talked about earlier, is really good in that mid-range, but as these fish move up, the square bills are going to start producing. So this is the Tackle HD square bill. I love that chartreuse black back. I love just a shad pattern, real natural, and any kind of craw. So it really just depends on water temperature, what these fish are eating on. If I go into the back of a creek and I see them chasing a lot of shad, I'm gonna reach for a shad colored bait. If I go into the back of that same creek, they're chasing shad, but the water's really, really stained, I'm gonna reach for that chartreuse colored bait. It gets a lot of bites, it's gonna stand out. If I just wanna keep it natural, a good go-to in the springtime for me is a crawdad colored crankbait. So pick something with a little bit of red in it, a little bit of orange, a little bit of brown. Can't go wrong with any of that. That's just a good all-around stained water, mercury water. Pick up that crawdad pattern and you should catch some fish. So a lot of baits working right now. We're talking about a lot of baits, from the square bill to soft plastics. But the soft plastics are gonna start producing a lot too. Shaky heads, tube jigs, creature baits, brush hogs, things like that. So I just got a simple Texas rig right here. No bobber stop. I feel like anytime you can get away without pegging your weight, you're going to get some more bites. You're going to catch more fish, land more of those fish. But I just got a Hayabusa hook on here. I use all Hayabusa hooks, whether it's a treble hook or this flipping hook right here. This is like an EWG style, has a great bend on here and a big gap that's gonna help put some more fish in the boat. But basically, I'm gonna flip a lot of shallow cover around the bank, creek channels, channel swings towards the backs of creeks, the backside of boat docks, any kind of laydowns, visible brush piles. Those are great spots for the jig. Those are great spots for any kind of soft plastics. I'm fishing my spinner baits around the shad. I'm fishing around those same objects like I'm talking about, big rocks, laydowns, stumps, brush piles, throwing that spinner bait, throwing that jig, throwing that soft plastic behind the boat docks, behind the cables. You want to fish those around some visible cover. The jerk bait, stuff like that, visibly seeing fish on my electronics. Also, fishing a lot of transitions, whether it's, from bluff to chunk rock or chunk rock to pea gravel, with the crankbait, with the jerk bait, things like that. Those fish are going to hold up and stage on those little rock transitions throughout the lake. So look for depth changes and transitions on the bank. Look for cover always here, whether it's a boat dock, whether it's a brush pile. You want to be around some cover to catch those fish, and always look for the shad. So right now, going back in the creeks, I'm looking at secondary points, I'm looking at channel swings, and then I'm fishing into the pockets that these fish are gonna spawn in. So I'm gonna, as the water's warming up, I'm moving back into these little pockets and bays that these fish are gonna spawn in. I'm fishing around the visible cover, the brush piles in there, and throwing back behind those boat docks where those fish are going to eventually spawn, and utilizing the Trophy Bass Company Pro Jig, Tackle HD plastics, variety of things are going to work back there. But the bite is changing daily. It's going to continue to do so, and a wide variety of baits are working, which makes this a really, really fun time of year. But when you get out there, make sure to look for the shad. These fish on the main lake are pulling up, and they're going to continue to pull up. There's going to be new groups of fish moving into the bank daily. So whether you're at the mouth of a creek or out on the main lake or in the very back of a major creek arm, you're going to be around some fish. You just kind of got to hunt around and find the cover and the bank style that they're using that day, and then go from there. And you can kind of repeat that same success if you have it throughout the lake. So if I go out and I catch a bunch of fish, at the end of a channel swing where it's kind of getting shallower, going into a flat or something like that, I'm gonna key on that in other areas. You know, if I'm getting bit on, you know, main lake points, I'm gonna key on that throughout the lake until the fish tell me that you know, they're not doing that. So usually when you get a bite right now, there's going to be more fish there than just that one. So stay patient, work the banks and spots that you're fishing multiple times. Come back and visit them throughout the day, and more fish are definitely going to move up. So focus on, you know, following kind of that creek channel back into these creeks from the main lake, and then looking at these pockets and coves close to that creek channel, and find the cover within those pockets and coves, and you're going to catch some fish. I hope this lake report helped. I've got some guide trips available. I've been super busy traveling for the pro circuit events. Just got back from Florida, and we've got a couple more in Alabama coming up, but I've got a few weeks here at home, going to be doing some guiding, and got a fairly open schedule, you know, after the next few weeks. So if you're interested in a guide trip, I'll drop a link below, and all these baits that I mentioned will be mentioned in the link or in the description as well, with a link to those baits. So if you like what I'm doing here, please be sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to have fishing reports out every week here for Lake of the Ozarks, so stay tuned, and hopefully we'll help you catch some fish. Thanks for watching.